Part 1. Introduction. Fluent English. It is a dream carried by millions of learners around the world. From classrooms to offices, from small towns to big cities, people everywhere are chasing this one skill that seems simple on the surface, yet feels so complicated when it comes to speaking. Everyone wants to speak English confidently. They imagine themselves walking into an interview room and answering questions without hesitation. They dream of giving a presentation in front of colleagues, and instead of trembling, they see themselves speaking smoothly, with respect and admiration shining in the eyes of the audience. Some imagine traveling abroad, ordering food, making friends, or even standing on a stage, sharing their ideas with the world in perfect English. But then reality arrives. The dream feels distant. The words don't come out. The grammar rules that seemed so easy in the notebook suddenly vanish in real conversations. The accent doesn't sound right. The sentences don't flow. And the fear of judgment becomes heavier than any grammar mistake. This is where most learners get stuck. They buy more books. They memorize more patterns. They watch hundreds of videos. They practice tenses, vocabulary lists, and complicated structures. Yet, when the time comes to speak, their mind goes blank. Why does this happen? Is English really so difficult? Or is there something else that learners are missing before they dive into patterns and grammar? The truth is simple but powerful. Before you learn English patterns for fluent speaking, there is one essential rule you must master first. This rule is not found in grammar books. It is not about vocabulary. It is not even about pronunciation. It is deeper than that. It is psychological. It is emotional. It is about how you see yourself as a learner. Think about it. Every child learns to speak their first language without any grammar book, without memorizing tenses, without knowing what a pattern is. They learn because they are free to make mistakes. They are not afraid of being laughed at. They try, they fail, they try again, and slowly their fluency is born. But when adults learn English, something changes. Fear enters the game. Fear of being wrong. Fear of being judged. Fear of being laughed at. That fear builds a wall, and no matter how many patterns you memorize, the words cannot climb over it. This is why the essential rule comes first. Because without it, all patterns, all grammar, and all vocabulary remain locked inside your head, never reaching your tongue. In this story, we will go deep into that rule. We will explore why it is more important than any tense, why it holds the secret key to fluency, and how mastering it will transform the way you speak English forever. So before we talk about English patterns, let's pause. Let's uncover this golden rule, the foundation that every fluent speaker has, whether they realize it or not, because fluency doesn't begin with patterns. Part 2. The fear factor. Fear. It is the invisible chain that holds countless learners back from speaking English fluently. Many people believe that their biggest problem is grammar. Others say, I don't have enough vocabulary. Some complain, my accent is not good. But if we peel back the layers, we find that the real problem is not grammar, not vocabulary, not accent. It is fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being laughed at, fear of making mistakes. Think about the last time you tried to speak English. Your heart started racing. Your palms got sweaty. Your mind felt heavy, as if it had forgotten every word you studied. You opened your mouth, but only silence came out. This is not because you didn't know the words. It is because fear blocked your confidence. The classroom example. Imagine a student sitting in an English class. The teacher asks a simple question. What did you do yesterday? The student knows the answer. In their mind, the words are clear. I went to the market. I bought some vegetables. But as soon as everyone's eyes turn toward them, the pressure rises. Suddenly, the sentence in their head disappears. The student stammers. I market go yesterday. The class giggles. Some laugh. The student's face turns red. At that moment, a belief is born inside their mind. And I'm not good at English. If I speak, people will laugh. From that day, the student avoids speaking. They write, they read, they listen, but they avoid speaking. And slowly, fear grows stronger. The interview example. Now imagine someone in a job interview. They have prepared for days. They know the answers. But the moment the interviewer asks in English, everything freezes. Words stumble out in broken pieces. The interviewer may not even care about grammar, but the candidate's fear makes them sound less confident. Not because they lack skill, but because fear steals their voice. The social example. Picture a group of friends chatting in English. One learner wants to join but stays quiet. Why? Because the fear whispers, what if I say something wrong? What if they laugh? What if I sound stupid? So they stay silent, and with every silent moment, the fear grows. The cycle of fear. This fear creates a cycle. 1. The learner studies grammar and patterns. 2. When speaking time comes, fear takes over. 3. They make mistakes or go silent. 4. Others laugh or judge. 5. Confidence drops. 6. Fear becomes stronger. 7. They avoid speaking. 8. Fluency never comes. It's a painful cycle, and millions of learners are trapped in it. But here's the truth. Every fluent speaker you admire has gone through the same fear. The difference is they broke the cycle. They realized that fluency is not born from avoiding mistakes. It is born from making them and still speaking. This is why the essential rule comes before patterns, because patterns cannot save you if fear controls you. You can memorize 1,000 sentences. You can repeat dialogues like a parrot. But if fear is still alive inside you, the words will never come out naturally. So before fluency, before patterns, before grammar, you must face the fear. Part 3. The essential rule revealed. Every learner asks the same question. What is the secret to fluent English? Is it grammar? Is it vocabulary? Is it patterns? Or is it something else? The truth is surprising. The essential rule that comes before English patterns is this. Do not fear mistakes. Courage comes before fluency. Yes, that's the rule. It sounds simple, but it is the foundation of every fluent speaker's journey. Without it, grammar is useless. Patterns remain silent, and vocabulary stays trapped in your notebook. Why courage before patterns? Patterns are important. Of course they are. They help you form sentences faster. They give you a ready-made structure for conversation. But what good are patterns if you never dare to open your mouth? Courage is the key that unlocks the patterns you have memorized. Think of your brain like a treasure chest full of English patterns, phrases, and words. If you do not have courage, that chest remains locked. But when you find the courage to speak, even with mistakes, the chest opens, and the words flow out. The child's lesson. Every child in the world proves this rule. When children learn their first language, they speak with endless mistakes. They mix words, they break grammar, they create funny sentences. But their parents don't stop them. Their parents encourage them. Day by day, the mistakes reduce. Day by day, fluency grows. Now compare that to adult learners of English. Adults are afraid to make the same funny mistakes. Adults fear that people will laugh. So they stay quiet. And because they stay quiet, fluency never grows. The child is fluent not because they are smarter, but because they are fearless. The perfection trap. Many learners fall into what I call the perfection trap. They believe, I will start speaking only when I am perfect. I will start speaking only when my grammar is correct. I will start speaking only when I memorize enough vocabulary. But here's the problem. That perfect day never arrives. Years pass, books fill, notebooks overflow, but the learner never feels ready. And because they never speak, they never grow. The perfection trap kills fluency before it even begins. The real rule of fluency. So what is the real rule? Fluency is not about being perfect. Fluency is about being fearless. It is about speaking even when you are wrong. It is about trying even when you make mistakes. It is about learning through action, not waiting for perfection. When you adopt this mindset, everything changes. Suddenly, patterns you learned begin to flow. Words you memorized start appearing naturally. Grammar begins to shape itself, even without conscious effort. Why? Because you are finally using English, not just studying it. A story to remember. Imagine two learners. The first learner studies every day but never speaks. They are afraid. They wait for the perfect moment. Years later, they still cannot hold a basic conversation. The second learner knows only a little grammar. They know only simple words. But every day they speak, with mistakes, with broken sentences, with courage. People laugh, but they don't stop. 1 year later, who is fluent? Not the one with grammar books, but the one with courage. Because courage turns practice into fluency.